What is up, Earthnoids and Spacenoids? I am just a simple new type, and in this episode we are returning to Kikka Kobayashi as she learns more about Amado Ray in the manga Gundam Pulitzer. Last time Kikka met with Boschweller, who told of his exploits during Char's rebellion. Kikka went to the moon, where she met Yuu Kajima. Yuu never really met Amado, but he experienced his battle training and got to know him through his simulated tactics. This time, Kikka will finish her conversation with Yuu Kajima. She will then be instructed to head down to the lower levels of Von Braun, where she meets some familiar junkers. So let's get into this. The two continue their conversation in the park on the moon. Yuu tells Kikka of a man who spent his life developing a Psychomu weapon. He didn't like that new types were being used as weapons of war, so he defected to the Federation. Of course, he is talking about Clust Moses from the Blue Destiny side story. Yuu doesn't believe that new types will eventually outcompete old types. He believes that there are good and bad old types, and even good and bad machines. He has seen machines exert ungodly power twice in his life. The first is the exam system, referring to his adventures in Blue Destiny, and the second was Amado Ray's Gundam during the fall of Axis. He refers back to that moment on the battlefield, where everyone was fighting against each other. Suddenly, the fighting stopped, then everyone understood each other and assisted Amado with pushing Axis. This is similar to Bosch's experience during these events. Amado exerts an immense amount of power, creating a psycho field and pushing Yuu Kajima's Jagan out of the way. All he saw was a bright green light. Kikka shows a picture of the cosmic glow from Earth. The official stance by the Federation is that the cosmic glow was caused by all the debris burning up in the atmosphere. This is what EFF told Yuu as well, but he knows what he saw. It was Amado who pushed everyone away from the asteroid. It was as if the Gundam were to bear the will of mankind. He knows nothing of what the Gundam was capable of from a technical standpoint, but he is certain of one thing: the Federation will always build something way above their head, and when things go wrong, they will deny its existence. We have seen this time and time again throughout Universal Century. Our conclusion of the coverage of 0083 Rebellion shows just one of many examples of this exact thing. Go check out that video. The Aurora is just another cover-up for the Gundam's power. He says that he abandoned his mobile suit in the end, so he has no data, and one man's testimony is never really anything to go off of. But he believes that on the battlefield, a pilot's senses are finely tuned. This goes the same for the eyes, and he believes that new types have the ability to play out time slower or faster, depending on the situation. Like a spidey sense? He says to treat his observation more like a military folklore, but Kikka believes him. This makes him think of Marion. She says that she has a hunch about him. Yuu tells Kikka that she talks like a new type. He explains to her that the light felt like a warm hug. Mid-sentence, Yuu says he has to go to the spaceport and abruptly takes his leave. As she wonders why the Federation would try to cover this up, a woman who looks an awfully lot like Fa comes up to her and gives her a letter. Fa says that her husband insists that she give her this letter. She accepts the letter and notices Camille off in the distance. Well, the back of Camille's head at least. That's all you're gonna get and you will love it. A lot to unpack here, but it's nice to see that Fa and Camille have a happy ending after all they have been through. But Kikka really doesn't know Fa or Camille. When she sees the back of Camille's head, it simply reminds her of cats. She goes into a new type spiral before realizing it isn't him. The note simply says head to the bottom layer, 3rd ward. Later, she heads to the bottom. Remember, Von Braun is built in layers. The top is shopping and entertainment, the middle is residential, and the bottom is industrial. The bottom is also where Kelly Leisner's junkyard was located. She just sees junk everywhere and doesn't know what she should be looking for. That is when she stumbles onto none other than Beecha and L. I'm amazed this asshole's still alive. You would think that he would screw over the wrong person eventually. They are trying to recycle some scraps, but the buyer is lowballing them. L tries to get 20% and they eventually agree on 15. Kikka hears them mention that some of the junk is from Char's rebellion, which piques her interest. As she walks over to them, a piece of junk falls, nearly killing Kikka. Out of the rubble is one of the T-shaped psychoframes that Chan had. L says that she could keep that. She wants to ask them questions and tells her that they will be in the city till tomorrow so they could touch base later. L and Kikka introduce one another. Later, they meet up at the greatest establishment in Universal Century, McDaniel's. This time, L and Beecha have Mondo with him. Ugh, he's alive too? What a shame. The three celebrate their first sail on the moon. They're still disgusting trash people. They wonder what Kikka is researching. She asks if they ever heard of Amado Ray. They all give her a look like, yeah dude. Kikka catches them up on Gundam Pulitzer. They inform her that they know Bright and served on his ship for a little bit. They also happen to know Kai as well. Elle tells her that Kai came to Shangri-La last year looking for a Gundam type. We know that he has been looking for the Gundam as a way for Kai to absolve his sins. He is talking to a man that looks like Giman Bajak. He was a comic relief character in Double Zeta who piloted the Geze. That's a real sentence that just came out of my mouth. The three happened to be the ones who helped him look for it. They didn't have the Gundam he was looking for, though it does appear that they have the wreckage of the RX-78 too. What's that all about? Ever since that day, the Junkers have also been interested in finding Amado Ray's Gundam. They are trying to get a ship so they can go out and claim more wreckage. Many junk crews set up shop on the outskirts of the sides and just pick off drifting debris. But there is a treasure trove of junk out there in many of the shoal zones. It literally says if junk is flowing, there's money to be made. Okay, calm down, this isn't spice. Most of the junk drifts towards the Lagrange points, which is why places like Side 1's shoal zone is so huge. This is where most of the wreckage from the Battle of Loom is located. However, these areas are full of Minovsky particles, so it is a safe haven for pirates and Zeon remnants. The junk comes with a price, but it is worth it to find Amado Ray's Gundam. Beecha makes a very creepy laugh while he thinks of all the money he could be making before Elle punches him for acting creepy, as the Federation has already sent countless teams out to hunt for Amado's Gundam. She wonders if their search is a fruitless endeavor. He says not to underestimate the power of trash people. Kikka says she would like to see the Gundam if they ever do end up finding it. She wonders how they plan on going about finding Amado's Gundam. Beecha has no trouble telling her, but he doesn't want to talk about it in public. They head to a Von Braun hangar where Beecha shows off his ship. Elle says, bitch, this is a rental, calm down. That is when they meet up with Ino, who is also a part of the gang. You know what? We give Beecha and Mondo a hard time, but I feel Ino deserves some of that hate. He's the enabler of the group and should know better. They board the ship where no one can hear their conversation. He continues. A year ago, Side 1 was attacked by Neo-Zeon remnants. A battle waged on. They noticed something when searching through the wreckage post-battle. Side 1 is located at Lagrange Point 5. Side 6 is also located at the L5 point. However, Side 6 was built off of what remained of Side 4, aka More, which was more or less obliterated during the 1-week war. Because of this, there is a lot of junk on the edge of what is now Side 6. They learned from the remnants that they were able to build their mobile suit forces entirely from salvaged parts in the remains of the former Side 4. She wonders how they were able to get that information. She tells her that an old friend returned on a Jupiter's-class ship, where he was able to eliminate the Neo-Zeon remnants. They speed past this comment fast, but it appears in late UC 93, early 94, Judo returned to Earth to help Side 1 and then just fucked off back to Jupiter. The author Chihiro Owaki just gave future writers a chance to make this story a reality. Let's see that return of Judo story. However, some of the junk that they sold contained Gyaradoga parts. They were from Char's Rebellion. How did wreckage that was on the verge of breaking up in Earth's atmosphere end up at the L5 point? Ino says that celestial mechanics are playing a trick on them. They need to head back to Shangri-La. But Elle reminds them that they have to return the ship and they won't be able to get their own ship for about another month. Kikka asks if she could join them on their next journey. If they are this determined to find the Gundam, she wants to be there when they find it. What is she going to do for a month until they get a ship? I have a feeling that she can pay for them to get a ship now, but you will see in the next scene that they are setting up something where it has to play out in a month. So it has to happen because of plot. A man in black is spying on Kikka. She informs his contact that she will be heading to Side 4. His contact happens to be Beltorchica. She is working with Bosch Weller, who is getting resources provided by Luo & Co. Beltorchica tells Bosch that Kikka is heading to Side 4 as well, and they have 1 month to make moves. It seems that the Char Rebellion scraps that drifted into the L5 point will be what fuels Mars Zeon and the Oldsmobiles. We saw Beltorchica scheming in previous episodes, but this confirms she has a hand in this as well. The thing that I wasn't expecting, however, is that Luo & Co. seems to be their financier. However, this is just a tease, and we will have to wait to find out more. And that will do it for this episode. We're starting to see writers finally put some attention on bridging early Universal Century with late Universal Century. It does seem like there is a disconnect when we get to Cosmo Babylonia. So seeing how the UC90s all the way through Mafty's Rebellion influences the formula and eventually Crossbone Vanguard. We are once again caught up, so let me know how you think Beltorgica plays into all of this. Also, go give Trafalgar Log some love. He translates a lot of unique Gundam stories, including the Gundam Sea Astray series. But that will do it for this episode. Remember, one man's trash is another man's treasure. Peace.